Hello and welcome to another episode of Lids Off. I am your host, Bo Snow. I'm joined today with a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself, Queen?
Yes, I'm Katy Ormston, pronouns she, her, and I am a wide receiver for Cheshire Bears.
And also international superstar and player.
If we say so. Questionable.
I say so. So we start off with how we usually do. How did football find you, Katy?
Really easy answer to that is COVID. So spent a lot of time sat on my own in lockdown, lived by myself, sat by myself and needed a reason to leave the house. Wasn't very interested on going on a walk by myself while everyone else was having a nice walk with their family and their dog. So as soon as restrictions were lifted, I was like, how do I leave the house? How do I meet new people? How do I make new friends? And how do I make sure I'm actually doing some exercise? So that was kind of the aim, really. And I think it was just a random Facebook sponsored post thing. Didn't know anything about American football. My dad watched it, but, I was literally the person sitting there going, what do those numbers mean? What's that flag for? What do those lines mean? Who's that? Why are they on? What special teams? I had no knowledge at all. And then I was recruited by Amanda Staples, and anyone that kind of came into Bears at that point will have been Amandaed, and will always say that they joined the team without really realising how they did it. Just Amanda magically managed to sign you up, and that's what happened to me. I'd completely missed the rookie days, so I joined mid-season. Well, not mid-season; they were a couple of weeks in, but they were already on playbook stuff, and then I rock up in my little pink boots, not knowing what I'm doing. And trying to figure it out whilst Amanda's decided that I'm going to be a wide receiver. So, yeah, that was my intro to football.
That's really wild. I love that, actually, if you think about the timeline, we saw the same sponsored post. That's wild.
Yeah, and the thing is, for me, like, it could have gone differently because technically Manchester Titans is closer to where I live than Cheshire Bears is. It's easier for me to get to Bellevue than it is to get to get to the Bears games. It could have ended up going completely differently, but I'm happy where I am. So yeah.
But the difference is that you actually read the posts, and I just assume things and fuck up and ended up at the Titans anyway. Whereas you,
I think it was more I just didn't want to try and get to that side of Manchester. Navigating Manchester was, but no, yeah, it went the way it was supposed to be, and yeah, I ended up at Bears, and joined in that COVID season, and we had a really great bunch of vets at the time, so like just learning from them, the support I got off them, the wide receiver unit at that time was stacked, and just trying to get on the field was a challenge in itself. So yeah, it was a great time to join, and I wouldn't change anything. It was brilliant. So thanks, Amanda, if you ever see that.
Yeah, I've never met Amanda, but I think one of the going phrases at the Bears is the devil works hard, but Amanda Staples works harder.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, she was integral to Bears and what it is and everything it stands for. So yeah, she's just like the sweetest soul as well. So a lot of love for Amanda and for Tom as well.
Nice. So if we go back to like your early engagement with sport in general, were you ever part of any teams or engaged in sport?
I was quite a sporty person in childhood. I was a swimmer.
I can see that. I don't know what that means, but I can see that.
The big shoulders give it away. I was a swimmer, so and that was intense sports. 4:30 in the morning starts, getting to the pool for 2 hours, then doing school, finishing school, back in the pool for 2 hours, maybe a land training session, so some stretching, gym work, blah 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 blah. Eat, go to bed, rinse and repeat. So yeah, that was intense sport to a fairly decent level. Cheshire champion, representing regionals, but very much a solo sport. It's one of those sports where you're competing against yourself. It's a tough sport. It's a challenging sport, but I loved it. I was obsessed. School wise, a bit of normal football, netball. Thrown into athletics every now and again, but I can't run. They just used to throw me into the distance events because I had a bit of stamina. And yeah, that was me really. But yeah, I was big tomboy, big into sports, wanting to play football with the boys, and yeah. And then swimming took over, and everything was swimming after that. And I just spent my teenage years smelling the chlorine. So, yeah.
Sorry. So, was there much of a transition period for you in terms of, because that is quite a big leap from kind of swimming, solo sport, to COVID, where it's quite isolating, to full send on a sport that you're not 100% confident with, and it's a contact sport as well.
Yeah, so the contact element was actually a really big thing for me, because that was one thing I hadn't really done before. Like, I hadn't really touched rugby, that it was, and I mean, grown out a bit now, but I used to be really tiny, especially when I was swimming, like there was no fat on me, there was no weight on me. So I'd never really done much contact sport. As much as they say netball's a non-contact sport, it absolutely is. But that was
100%.
That was about the limit of it. So yeah, so there was a bit of me kind of a bit of trepidation when I signed up, because in my head I was like, I think I'm really built for flag. The idea of pads and helmet and being tackled just wasn't appealing to me. And then we got into first tackle session, and offense line up, you need to learn how to be hit. Defense are going to come at you, you're going to get tackled, let's go. First one, I get bounced off the floor, head bounced off the floor, and I stand up and I'm like, the joy, shuffle myself to the back of the line. It's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, it's all fine, I'm good. Get back to the front of the line, I was like, here we go again. Exact same thing. Get back to the back of the line, I was like, I don't know if this is for me, So yeah, and that was, so for me, I was like, is this a sport I want to? Because I'd just never done that level of contact before. So I think I spent probably all of my rookie season terrified that I was going to get knocked down. Just the whole season, I don't even want to see the ball, because then I might stay on my feet. But then I think tournament 1 was the turning point for that in Birmingham. And we played Birmingham Lions and eventually got on the field. And all I remember, I've got no idea who the players were, because I was rookie season and I barely knew who the people on my team were, so I couldn't even tell you. But I've never been tackled so nicely in my life. I just had 2 Birmingham Lion players wrap me up and just hug me to the ground. And then I was like, okay, I can survive this. And then I think from there it's just a pure confidence thing, and you've just got to get your head around it. And now I'm fine with it. But it took a couple of seasons to really get confident in the fact that actually I'm going to get hit, but it's going to be fine, and I'm going to get up and it'll be okay most of the time. So yeah, so I'm fine with it now. I think the helmet helps. I think and the pads, they kind of give me that level of, like, how people do rugby, I don't know. Because it just kind of gives me that level of safety that, there's a little bit of protection between me, the ground, the player, whatever. Contact was something in the back of my head, but it was a lot of trepidation. And, people that come to see me play now, they're still, every time I get the ball, they're just waiting, terrified of the hit. So I get for spectators as well, it's, if you don't know the game well and you don't know what's coming, it's not a fun watch as well. So
what kept you coming back though?
I loved it. I was addicted straight away. Like I said, like the vets that we had at that point were brilliant. Like, just a really fab group of people that knew the game, knew what was going on. We had a really big rookie intake that year as well. And, some of those people that were rookies with me at the same time, are now really, really good friends of mine. I think that was part of it as well. So like that season, we just had, like, the vibe was good. We had a really good group of people around us, and it was just addictive to be there. Like, I just wanted, as Tatton Hall in the sun as well is great.
It's glorious. It's absolutely glorious.
We did that first camp, and it was absolutely boiling, and we did a scrim, and we did it as a proper scrim, and it was the first time I'd done anything like that, and it was just fun, and I just enjoyed getting up on a Saturday morning, going to training, and enjoyed being there. I was, getting through my week, looking forward to Saturday morning. Oh yeah, I was just hooked.
So did you have a go at kind of some different positions, or was it just you're a receiver and you were kind of...
I'm a receiver through and through. I mean, now, I've dabbled in other positions. As I've repped in at tight end when I've needed to rep in at tight end. I've played a little bit of DB. I don't think I've actually played running back in a game, but I've definitely repped it in training. That's not good for anybody. I'm not recommending I be a running back. I'm terrible at it, but I know where I'm going and that sort of thing.
I think now's the time to address to the public and announce that you're actually formally transferring to O-line. Do you not think?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, that was a one-time only thing where we had a scrim where we had receiver depth and we needed a little bit of help on line. So I stepped in at left guard.
And you were amazing. I'm not bullshitting. I'm not being sarcastic. Like, you were really, really good as well.
That's all thanks to the D-line being either injured or very kind to me. I'm taking a lot of pride in the fact that the QB didn't get sacked and I didn't get put on my arse. That's, like, I'm taking that as the win. You know, there wasn't much skill there, to be fair. But I'm taking it. QB didn't get sacked, I didn't go on my arse. I'm happy.
Line is not a skill
And
position.
I will now go back to
Line is not a skill position. You are good. You are good.
I'm going back to receiver where I belong. I do not belong on the line.
Good. What a joke. Well, we'll see this season. We will see this season, but...
I'm not volunteering for the line. I'm not going on the line.
Stop acting like you wouldn't. You are the ultimate team player. Katy will literally fill in anywhere. As long as people carry on playing football, you will go anywhere.
I mean, yeah, if I can facilitate a scrim, I will, I'll be wherever you want me to be.
You're so polite.
You know, as we know from Sealand when we went out to Guadalajara and I was playing high safety, I'm not built for these positions. I'm just not. Very quickly relegated back to where I belong. Quickly shuffle back to
Stop.
the offence.
We will get into Sealand very shortly, but yeah. So, what is it about receiver that you love so much? Because
it's the glory position, isn't it? And that's the bit that you love about it. When that QB gets a dime throw and the pass is on, like there's no better position to be than wide receiver when that's happening. You know, you get a deep ball in open space. And you feel like you've won the Super Bowl, even if you've only gone 5 yards. That's the fun part for me. And I think kind of why I mean we'll probably get onto it as well. But you know, I also played flag for Huskies this season, and part of playing flag is again that it's heavily pass game. So there's more for me to do. There's more that fits my skill set. There's more of those glory moments. And yeah, that's what I love about being a wide receiver. You get a good connection with the QB. You know, they get a good read on you. They know how fast you're running. You know, they know where you're going to be. They just put the ball up and trust that you're going to be there. And it's just jigsaw pieces fitting into place. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it's spectacular. And it's just, yeah, I just love it.
How do you stay resilient, though, after games? Because arguably, I'd say most of the Sevens League and historically, most of the teams we've played against, most of the women's game, I'd say, in England, are predominantly run game.
Yeah.
Focused. How do you stay disciplined? How do you stay focused when it's
I think a key thing for me, and again, it's been a mindset shift, is my football IQ going up. So I've been really lucky that I've had some really good offensive coordinators that you know will kind of trust me to do more. And there was definitely a part of me a couple of seasons ago where it was like, oh, it's a run. I'll just stand over here with the DB. I don't really need to do anything. I don't really need to engage the block. I'm out of this play. It's just another run. And you know, kind of seeing more play, you know, with jet sweeps in them and motions and things where you can get involved, or you can come out on the weak side and go and hit somebody. Like that really helped my confidence with that, and kind of realizing that actually there's more to the run game than me just being an extra player that's not really needed. It is frustrating sometimes, and I think kind of, you know, the GB journey and stuff like that, when their philosophy being run the damn ball and doesn't play into my skill set, it is what it is. So yeah, in those kind of situations, it's tough, especially when you know, like, you know, it's a windy day, or you know, it's things aren't going with you, and you know the pass game's not really going to be on. Like that's when games get hard, and you've got to really kind of, like you said, just kind of be resilient and dig in and realize that there's a time and a place for the stuff that you're doing, and it's gonna come good eventually. But yeah, I think that's it really. It's just keeping your head in the game, and like I said, it's about those kind of glory moments. So they're not going to happen all game every game, and that's part of the sport. So I think once you can kind of get your head around that, kind of can utilise yourself in a different way in the games as well. So I'm finding now a lot more kind of, I'm going into space on the runs, I'm going and picking up danger that I'm seeing because I can read the game better because I've got better football IQ. So, you know, I can see better that there's going to be a blitzer, or I can see better that, you know, the mic's going to crash down, or whatever it is. I'm better at reading the game now. So rather than just thinking, oh, I just need to worry about this DB on the sideline and I'm not really important here, actually, now that my football IQ's gone up and now that I'm learning more about the game, there is a role for me there in the run game, where previously I probably believed that there wasn't. I was just a spare part.
So what's helped kind of facilitate and grow that football like?
Coaches and good players that know the game. That, like I said it at the start, that first season we had a really good group of vets. I had really patient, experienced wide receivers where I'm going, I don't know what this route is. What's a 5 and in? What's a slant? I don't know what we're talking about. And they just take me through it step by step. Tom was great at working on my footwork, and like I said, we've benefited from having some really good, knowledgeable OCs that love the game, like really, really love the game. Have built really good sevens playbooks and that have been able to get us to finals and do things like that. So it's thanks to them really that my football IQ is where it is, because like I said, when I started, I didn't know a single word. I mean, I still don't know the rules. Every now and again a flag will go up and I'm like, is that our flag? Is that whose flag's that? What's going on? What's the flag for? I've been in games where refs are explaining rules to me because I don't know where I'm supposed to be. I'm getting a flag and I don't know why. So yeah, like just having people around you that are knowledgeable of the sport and just love it so much, like it's just by osmosis that you want to be better and you want to learn more.
You get 10 points for getting osmosis into a podcast about football. Very well done there. I see what you did.
I will take it off my list.
So who would you say, I'm going to put you on the spot now, out of, the players that you played with or against, like who have been your biggest kind of influences in shaping the receiver you are today, / O-lineman?
We'll stick with receiver. So for me, like Nat Kelly and Rich Broadhurst were in that rookie year for me were just incredible. They were so helpful, so kind. Nat's just like the world's most the nicest person in the world. I've got so much time for Nat, and just wanted for me to improve. Like just wanted me to be better. And I absolutely love that. So yeah, it's definitely shaped the player that I've become. I mean, when you're looking at the receivers that we've got nationwide, when you look at kind of the roster for GB and all of that sort of stuff, you can't help but be inspired by them. There's some real talent in that team, and I wish I got to watch more of defense play so I could watch the receivers, but a lot of the time you're off in your huddle and all of that sort of stuff. But there's some really big people in there that have just had such a massive influence on the game, and again are just nice people in the sport. And I can't fault Brit Ball. It's so much fun when you just go around the country meeting new people. It's great.
Oh yeah, completely agree. Talking about the wider community though, that's a good segue into Sealand. Because you are the reason that I'm in Sealand, so how did you discover? You are! Because I remember when you did the Bears Instagram takeover when you were in Bordeaux. Yes, and I was like, this sounds really fucking cool. So, how did you find out about Sealand? And
so I think I was introduced to it by other people when it was starting to be formed. The kind of word started getting out. We had a training session in Milton Keynes that was the women's team and the nationals and the masters, so everybody in one place. And you just look around and there was like best part of 100 people there, and it was like, what is this? Like, this is mental. And it was just random people stood in a muddy field in Milton Keynes, and none of us knew each other, and we were just installing a playbook. And it was like, okay, this feels like good fun, and it feels like something special. And then one training session, and then it was straight out to Bordeaux. So that was it. So that was the introduction to Sealand. There wasn't one. It was just, are you in? Yeah, let's go. Are you dickhead? No, I'm not. Okay, get on the plane. Let's go. See you there. And it was, so we were playing nines in the game in Bordeaux, and it was just as Baffert announced the Nines League. So nobody there had played a Nines game. I mean, people had probably played at Elms, but I don't think anybody had played a Nines game. Domestic teams that had gone into nines would just start in training because it was in the February. So it was all brand new as well. No one really knew what they were doing. We installed special teams an hour before kickoff, and it was just carnage. But we'd had we got the people that had managed to get out there on the Friday. We had like a training session on the Friday night, and I think that was when things started clicking. People started kind of bonding and getting on with each other. And it was just like a very random weekend, but it was just a room full of just random people, but they were all great, and everyone was funny, and everyone was nice, and everybody was just there for football, and yeah, it was good fun.
Because you went out on your own, like, for the people that don't know the backstory, like, you literally were the only person from the Bears that went. and you just threw yourself and went to France on your own to join a team in a format that you've never played before, with a playbook that you've not had a run through properly. Like, for so many people, that would be absolutely not. Have you always been like, yeah, fuck it? Or is it just, I really want to progress, and that's my driver for being part of Sealand? Like, what was it?
Oh no, it was definitely fuck it mentality. 100%. And again, probably COVID's to blame. It was like, how can I get on a plane and leave the country? Like, what can I do to get out of here? But no, like, I've travelled a bit, I've lived abroad a bit, like, it that sort of thing, getting on a plane by myself doesn't really scare me. And like I said, like, I had some great people around me. I know Layla's been on here talking about Peterborough.
We love you, Layla.
Adopted me on that trip, and that, you know, they were amazing. And again, really good Britball friends that I've got now from that trip. Lindsay Llewellyn and Jenny Ansley from Edinburgh Wolves, Edinburgh Wolves, were on my flight back to Manchester, which we'd all stupidly booked for about 11 on the Sunday night. So I basically turned around to them and said, we're all hanging around here till 11 o'clock at night. Can I just hang out with you for the day? And they went, yeah, cool, come with us. So we did all the touristy, open top bus, wandering around, eating all the food, seeing all the things. And they were just amazing, and they just got stuck with me all day. So, but again, you know, they're people that if I see them at a game now, I'm never not going to stop and have a chat with them. So it's just one of those things where it just widens the community again. So, and people are just so nice and so kind, and you know, I've been really fortunate that I've been able to pay that back on like other trips where we've had new people come in, that I know are travelling on their own or aren't really know anybody that well. So it's nice to be able to kind of be at that point where I'm kind of a more established member of Sealand and can kind of pay that forward. That's quite nice.
Yeah. What would you say? I know this is going to be a hard one, but what was your favourite trip? Because you've been to France, you've been to Spain, and to Amsterdam.
Good question.
She's international, ladies and gentlemen.
I think Bordeaux will always have like a special place in my heart because I just think that trip was really special. I mean, there's things I loved about all of them. Guadalajara was different because I was playing out of position for 80% of the game, and not very well. Football wise, that was harder for me and probably frustrating for Lindsay as DC. But also there was a different element to that because we'd also done like a joint training session. So we got together and again there was men's team playing, so there was all of everything, everyone amalgamated together. The sun was shining, that was great. And then Amsterdam, like we just had an absolutely stacked roster for Amsterdam.
So good.
Like the roster was insane.
It was so good.
Just incredible talent, just being on field with completely different people. And again, like that's the thing that changes. You know, every time we've gone to do these trips, the playbooks change. We've got new people. I mean, there's some people that have stayed the same, but there's new people, new dynamics, and that's what I think is fun about it. And why I can't just pick one, because it's not pick your favourite of the same thing. It's so different every time that they're almost like not comparable.
What I've kind of gauged from people that have been sailing like yourself a bit longer than myself is that each time it's kind of taking itself more seriously each time.
Yeah, and I think you know, that last tournament, that last game in Amsterdam, I think, you know, losing that was the one that we found hard because it was such a close game the whole game. The scoreline was so close. It's not like they ran away with it. Like Bordeaux, we just got our asses handed to us. Do you know what I mean? It was just they just ran away from us, and that one was so close. Like I said, there was real talent in that squad, and we just couldn't get the final last percent to make it work. So I think that's the first time I think we've probably come away and been like, we could have. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And maybe that bit more competitive than it is before. You know, because there's a bit of it. It's all just fun, and it's a bit of a jolly with your mates on holiday, having fun, and you know, once the game's finished, you're probably on the piss and all of that stuff. But I think that was the one where it was like we could have got the win there, and we didn't, and that one hurt a little bit. So yeah, we're still holding out for the win. Apart from the default win we got in Guadalajara after the ejections of the coaches. But yeah,
especially after that training session the night before. in Amsterdam. That was something else, and I listed that as one of my favourite memories of Sealand because everybody was locked in. That was the most competitive game of women's football I've ever played in my life. It was sweaty, it was angry, it was competitive, and literally every single person on that pitch wanted to be better.
Yeah. And that's where I think Sealand's coming into its own now. Like I said, we had a great roster, we had a great team of people there, and you were fighting for your spot. It wasn't like, Guadalajara. I'd gone and played cornerback and safety because there were no DBs, so, or hardly any DBs. I don't think there were any, actually. So, I was still in a position that needed to be filled, whereas Amsterdam, it was different. It was people fighting for spots, and it was people wanting game time, and, it was, like you said, it was even that training session on the Friday was so competitive, and it was people that really wanted to be there and really wanted to play football. But still good fun. And then we all went out afterwards.
Oh my god, yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping the next trip is in the Czech Republic. I keep saying Czechoslovakia. I don't know why. My brain is,
stuck in the late 80s.
Probably why. But we're going to Brno.
Yep.
We are going to get that dub.
We need to find out where Brno is.
Yeah, I thought they were abbreviating it, but actually it's the full name. Which go off. But my aim is to get at least one player from every club up and down the country, We need Shield Maidens in. We need Chaos in. Well, we've got Chaos in. But we need Solent and all, Valkyries. We need more people because the more diverse and kind of players we have, the stronger our team gets.
Yeah, and I think that's slowly happening. From where we were in that first game, where there was a big Peterborough Royals contingent, there was a big EKP contingent, there was some Edinburgh Wolves, and then a kind of smattering of people from other clubs. Amsterdam again felt different because we were getting more representation there. We were getting London teams, we were getting Teesside players, we were getting new teams in there that we hadn't really seen representing before. So it's definitely going in the right direction, and we're getting the word's getting out, and we're getting more people in. It's just the exposure, I guess. Where have we got the links? How can we get people that want to be involved more involved?
So if we turn the tail back to this season, we're kind of facing more teams that we haven't played, have we? No.
Which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, I like that we're getting kind of like, well, I'm getting one of each, because I'm missing the home tournament, sadly. But kind of, how are you feeling about the Sevens tournament? Are you got that we're not going up to nines? Where are you at with that?
I think probably at the end of last season, I would have been pushing for like that jump to nines. It didn't happen for very sensible reasons, one of which being player safety, and completely agree that was the right decision for the club. I'd love to see us at nines if we could manage it safely. I'd love to see that for Bears. But obviously, everything that's happened with the Sevens League this year, with Peterborough and Chaos coming back into the league, it just means that we get to play more teams and teams we haven't played before. I mean, we got a glimpse at Cheetahs and Exiles at finals last year, and just how great they are. So having competitive teams and having a competitive league, that was part of my concern last season. At the end of the season, I was worried we were going to end up with a non-competitive Sevens League. So it's nice that we're playing new teams. I know Bears have played Valkyries before, but not since I've been playing. So it'd be good to see Valkyries. Obviously, Peterborough Royals, it's always good to see them. Haven't played with them at Sealand, but haven't played against them. And then obviously kind of our old favourites from last season with Chaos and Shield Maidens. I think it'd be really good that we've got that diversity of different teams. What might work for one team might not work for another team, so we've got to be able to adapt. And yeah, I just think it's. I'd like to be able to see more support for the Nines League, but I'm actually quite excited we've got a competitive Sevens League, which is I can't complain about it now that it's worked out the way it has.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm so excited, and I think it feels like every team is coming at it from a different angle, because for a lot of teams you're not playing them more than twice or more than once even. So how do you game plan for someone that you're never going to play against again? And also meeting new pals, all for that. But I'm excited to see kind of where Peterborough sit. I'm really excited to play Peterborough because they've played nines, they've not had a successful nines, so how do they adapt back to sevens? Because they had a really solid sevens record. So, like, how does that aggression and knowledge from nines translate into sevens? Like, I definitely think they need to be taken a lot more seriously.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I don't think you can write Royals off because as well they've had 2 seasons at nines as well. Like the experience that they've got in doing that as well. That can't be ignored. But the reality is it's a completely different game. It might be that sevens really suits them. But I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers for me on the line against Ilsa and the rest of their line. Ilsa, I love you. You fucking terrify me. My safe word is broccoli.
Interesting safe word. Interesting.
Yeah, you've got to adjust it. You've got to keep it spicy. But yeah, so another question is, if you could play for any other team, yes, who would it be and why? So, and on this one you get 2. So you get coolest uniform.
Okay, perfect.
And then just whoever else.
So I'm immediately ruling Teesside out of coolest uniform based on the yellow socks alone.
Okay, controversial but fair.
So if I'm going on coolest uniform, I actually think probably Birmingham. I think Birmingham come out looking smart.
Ooh, you're partial for all white.
Their kit is fresh. They always look ready to play. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you like, is it the white helmet and the blue pants? Is that...
See, this is the interesting thing, because I'm not really a white jersey fan.
This is controversial.
So this is an interesting choice for me that I've ended up picking Birmingham Lions. But I think the combo of the white jersey and whatever shade of blue we're calling the trousers, which are just immaculate, I just think as a unit, and they all come uniformed and ready to go, and they look so well drilled, and then it just feeds into their game. So I think if we're basing it on kit alone, I think my vote's going to Birmingham. But there's also a special place in my heart for Birmingham and teams that play at the University of Birmingham. Maybe slight bias, but yeah, I think on uniform alone, I'm going Birmingham. If I'm going on experience, it's hard, you know.
I know, right? I'm putting you on the spot.
See, there's always going to be a part that will say London Warriors, just because of their record, how hungry they are, how much they want it. Left field for me. You weren't expecting Warriors?
No. Wow. No, but you know what? Like, it surprises me, but also at the same time, it doesn't, because you are one of the most disciplined people that I know. Yeah. Especially on our team, you're so boundaried and you're so focused. So I get that. I
think in terms of like setup and what I'd learn as a player and how they approach games, I think there could be a lot to learn there as going into a team. Vibes wise, I'm going to say my babes at Royals. To line up with them is always if I'm just going on the vibes. I also think Teesside could be quite a laugh as well, with some of the players coming across from the folded Leeds team. They've got a lot of talent in that team. As much as I don't like the yellow socks, there's a lot of talent there. What they were doing at sevens before they moved up to nines with such a small squad, was just incredible. So yeah, they'd probably be another one that if you're in the middle of their squad, that's probably quite an exciting place to be. So I didn't give you one answer there. You got 3 teams, but there you go.
I got 2 national champions. No, I got 3 national champions. You've got a
sure what I wanted from the sport, though.
Glory and championships.
Give me a medal.
You know what? I respect it. You're nothing but transparent about your goals. I respect it, 100%. No, that Birmingham uniform threw me. Genuinely, yeah. I thought you were gonna go for Leeds, maybe.
The Leeds one is nice.
I thought you were more of a black and purple kind of gal.
I already have a black jersey, so...
Oh shit, yeah. Sorry. I forget that teams that don't have the black jersey covet it, and the people that do have it, don't. Okay, fair enough. Okay. So, do you have any goals for this season?
I don't even need to tell you my goal for this season. You know my goal. Touchdowns.
Yes, we are getting Katy that touchdown. We are getting you that touchdown. Have you got a celebration lined up? I feel like you need to.
I need to, but I honestly think that if and when it happens, I think the rest of offense will celebrate for me. I don't think I need a celebration. I think I will just be drowning in players because it's such a long time coming. So.
Oh my god. I personally will go feral. I know the whole team will.
I don't think I'm going to need a celebration. You're not going to see me in the heap of offense.
Amazing. So, have you got any kind of advice for rookies, or any advice for rookie you?
Rookie me?
Yeah.
So start with rookie me. Stop being scared. Like, it's all going to be fine. Like, you're going to figure it out. It's going to be okay when you get knocked over. Linebackers aren't that scary, and at some point...
That's lies. That is lies. I'm sorry, I'm defending rookie Katy right now. Linebackers are feral. Have you met Layla? Like, absolutely not. That is terrifying.
Yeah, I'm not even just thinking of our linebackers or Layla. When you look at the Leeds linebackers were terrifying, which I guess now translates into Teesside. So thank God they're in nines. Yeah. So I think advice to me is stop being so scared. Get on with it, and you're gonna have fun. You're gonna learn a lot. You're gonna meet great people. Just go for the ride because it's brilliant. My advice to rookies is don't get overwhelmed. Like, it's a lot of information. At some point, probably towards the end of rookie season, it starts to click, and then once it's clicked, you're away. But that first 6 months it's overwhelming. There's a lot of information, and I think us as an offense as well, we forget sometimes as well that when we're talking about our offense things that they just don't know what it is.
Yeah, it is its own language. It is definitely its own language.
I mean, it's probably took me at least 3 seasons to understand what the line we're talking about. The line would just say stuff. I'd rep in at tight end and I'd just be like, can we translate? I don't know. Down block, Katy. Okay. Don't know what that is. Okay. I'll do something. It won't be a down block, but we'll have a go. So, yeah, that would be my advice to rookies, is just keep going. You know more than you think, and it will all just fit into place in the end. It'll be fine.
Do you feel that playing flag has made you a better wide receiver in contact?
100%.
Or... Yeah, okay. No, go for it. Why do you think that?
Because the touchdowns come so easily, Bo. The stats tell me it's helping my game. Oh God! Stop. No, like I said before, it's the same thing I'm going to say that I already said, which is there's less of the run game. There's not no run game, but there's not as much of a lean on the run game. So it's just a more fun sport. I mean, worst injury I ever got was playing flag. Prior to joining Huskies, I went out to Dublin last year as an honorary Husky and played flag out there. Went up to catch a ball, got a nice big elbow into the nose, and then I was like, I just really missed my helmet. I like my nose on my face. Yeah, so it's a completely different game. It's so different. Mentally, it should be the same, but it's not. Like, it feels quicker. Like, the pitch, even though it's the same size pitch, the pitch feels completely different in flag. And yeah, you're just up against different players. You've not got an O-line pushing away the middle of that field. There's fewer players on the pitch. It's so different, and I've definitely learned a lot about it. And in terms of me improving as a wide receiver, yeah, absolutely. Because the thing that I hadn't realised about flag is how easy it is for you to draw an offensive penalty because you can't make contact with the defensive players.
There's so many rules.
Again, another sport where I just don't know the rules. But kind of the hard bit for me switching to flag was like that instinct that you have to switch from contact. So, for example, like once someone's caught the ball, you can't keep going downfield with them. You stop still. That's it. You're done. Your game over at that point. If you don't have the ball, you stop still. Whereas my brain was like, I need to go and block, and I need to go and get in the way. And
shit, is that
it? Yeah.
I did not know that. I did not know that at all.
Yeah, so if we were playing flag and you catch the ball, I can't block for you. You're on your own. It's you versus defense. That's it.
That's wild.
Yeah. So that was the first one I had to get my head around, was I can't interfere once the ball's not come to me. So like I said, all of this stuff that I've got into my head about the run game and how I'm going to get myself involved, that all goes out the window with flag. I'm not involved anymore. But also that instinct is, you catch the ball, you turn, you see a player coming, and you instantly want to drop a shoulder, and let's not do that. So yeah, so just a very different sport, but it means like you've got to be more agile. You've got to be quicker out of your routes. You've got to be, like I said, it's once you've got the ball, it's you versus defense. So it could be that actually you've got 2 or 3 defenders and no one to help you. How are you going to make a play on that? So the tactics are different. Everything about it's so different, but because it's kind of heavily on the pass game, it's just so much. It's just improving me as a player so much. Like, I can't thank Huskies enough for letting me get involved, and I get to play with Nat Kelly again, which is always a dream. So yeah.
So do you think you will be sticking at flag then?
I hope so. I'd like to say so. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I mean, do I enjoy it being a winter sport? The Katy that was stood at JMO in the middle of a storm would say no. I was very much enjoying football being a summer sport, but here we are.
It's wild that the sport with more clothes on is the summer sport.
Yeah. I mean, flag very much looks like we should be playing that in the summer.
Yeah, right? It's like
shorts and a vest, little floppy flags. Just let me run around on a beach having a lovely time. Why am I in Scotland in the snow?
I mean, you literally went through 3 seasons on that game that got called off, though. Let's be honest now, like...
Oh my god, I mean, we didn't even get on the pitch. We didn't play.
You didn't play? I thought you were...
Huskies didn't play. We were playing at the end. We had 2 back-to-back games at the end. So we were out reffing. We were reffing the games, but we hadn't actually played.
Shit!
So we stood out in it for 3 hours and didn't play a snap.
But then on the adverse, like, the opposite of that is, what was that tournament where you, like, burned 5 million calories? And I was like, oh my god, Katy, are you okay?
Oh yeah, that was the last one. That was the last one where we were just running around for hours.
Me and Katy are pals on Apple Fitness, so I get to check in on her well-being when she's working out, and sometimes she does flag tournaments, and I'm worried about how many calories you're burning.
I'm taking that. I'm happy about it. I mean, I can't feel my legs the next day, but we're all good. Well,
if you've seen it paying off, then would you recommend that every receiver and / DB, would you say that skill positions would benefit from flag?
I think so. Yeah, I think, like I said, it's a very different game. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased because, I mean, like I've already said, like in my head, I was like, maybe I'm just safest playing flag and contact's not really for me. And then I got a digital contact, and I was like, oh yeah, what about flag? I think so. I feel like I have to up my game and play in a different way. Like I said, I'm having to be. It's about moving your hips, dropping your hips, getting yourself out of situations, and it's completely different to how you play as a contact player. But I think it helps. I think playing flag has definitely helped my confidence more than anything, because there's more likelihood of me seeing the ball, getting the ball, and getting in the end zone. There's some contact games where if I've touched the ball once in a game, I've had a good day. It's just not one of those days where the ball, the setup it means the ball isn't coming to me, or you were relying on the run game, or what you were saying about resilience before. There are some games that you come away and you're like, did I touch the ball today? Did I catch anything? Did I do anything? Or did I contribute? And you can doubt that. Whereas flag, I think, is a bit more transparent, that everyone's got a role, and with there being fewer players on the pitch as well, there's more chance and a higher probability that you'll see the balls. Yeah, I think it's good. It's a good experience for receivers and for DBs, cornerbacks as well. And I've done a bit of defense doing flag as well. And again, completely different game, because you're not actually tackling, you're going for a flag, so it's a completely different momentum. But it's good for like just learning the game and figuring out kind of what player you are, and just adjusting to different things that are going on as well. Again, like me not really knowing the game, learning more about cover two on defense. I don't know defensive plays, so going on to a defense that's like a more simplified defense, like helps my understanding. So yeah, I think I'd recommend it.
So, final question: what have you learned from football that you have been able to apply to your normal life?
Like, I've got so much to thank football for. I really, really do. Like, it's massively improved my mental health. Like I said, one of the main reasons I joined was to meet new people. Like, some of my best friends have come out of football. There's people that I'm really, really close to that 5 years ago I didn't even know existed. That goes wider than Bears as well. There's so many good people in Britball, and so much talent there. I think it's just what has it taught me? It's taught me patience. You're not always going to be wide receiver number one. You're not always going to be catching the ball. You're not always going to be in the end zone. And you've got to play the game. Like, a lot of people ask me what American football's like. They just assume it's like rugby, and it's not. It's so much more strategic than that. So yeah, just learning new skills, not being the best at it, having people tell you stuff and learning from people. Like, I love that more than anything. And also, like, it gives me a break in the rest of my life. Like, I have quite a hectic, as you know, life outside of football. So it's quite nice to kind of have football where, for a couple of hours it just quietens my brain and I can just focus on that. Even if that's just 2 hours on a Saturday and I don't really think about football any other time, my whole focus is on that. And, I absolutely love the sport, even though I still don't know all the rules. If I get a flag, I still probably don't know what it's for.
With that, have you got any final sentiments for your adoring fans? There are quite a few on the live sharing their adoration for you and love.
I don't think I have that many fans, but people that are there, like, come say hi at games. Like, it's a community. Some of these teams we're only going to see once this season, maybe twice if we're at finals. And the community is a great community. Players supporting players, and I want to see the sport thrive. So any way that we can be supporting other people, other teams, and keeping the game moving, like, I love that. I love to see the competitiveness. Don't get me wrong, but afterwards, happily have a beer. And yeah, I think for me, that's the message: is Britball's a great place to be as long as we keep it that way. I'd love to see the sport grow, especially the women's game. So yeah, come say hi is the message.
Yes, I second that, absolutely. My final sentiments for you, Katy: I am always going to be one of your biggest fans. I know there is a very, very long list. Whether you agree with it or not, it is there. And you have been one of the cornerstones of shaping my definitely my offense career at the Bears, and I can't thank you enough for that.
You're very welcome. I don't think I've done that much, but you're very welcome.
No, you definitely have. You are patient, you are kind, and you are gentle, and you are also boundaried and reassuring, which is everything I usually need. Even when I don't think I need it, you are, and that means a lot. It means the world. So thank you so much.
I take pride in that as a player. I think I'm not, and especially on game day, I'm not the loudest mouth on the field. I'm not the the one jumping up and down and screaming. I'm the calm presence. I'm the one that's like, I've got the shit together. Let's go, guys. We've got it. That's my role. Like, if my head goes in the game, it's gone. So that's not who I am at all. So yeah. So that's very much kind of what I want to be as a player. So I appreciate that.
No, it's definitely appreciated. And I cannot wait for this season. I cannot wait for you to get that touchdown finally. And there's going to be multiple. It's going to happen. Can't wait.
I'll work on a celebration just in case.
So, with that in mind, I've been Bo Snow.
I've been Katy Ormston.
And this has been Lids Off. Bye!